Keap is a little bit like a tree. Ready? Okay. You plant it in the ground, things grow out of it, and you get all these benefits.
You know, Keap might be a superhero that comes in and helps you when you're just at that point of frustration.
Small businesses are the heroes. Keap's the sidekick. Comes along and helps you in your crusades.
Keap would be an octopus because it's got all those arms and it can keep track of so many different things for you if you trained the octopus.
Keap is a fantastic product that helps small businesses grow.
Keap is CRM, sales and marketing automation for small businesses.
CRM stands for Customer Relationship Management.
The CRM helps you to manage that relationship.
We've given them one place for their sales, their marketing, their payments.
One arm could be, calling your customers. One arm could be texting them.
The typical day without Keap is
Chaos.
It is certainly chaos.
It's the 4 Excel spreadsheets I have open on my laptop. It's the 15 sticky notes I have stuck to my desk.
Did I call this person back? Did I reach back out? Did I send an email?
Which Post-it note comes first? Which notebook comes first?
It all starts with getting organized and calming down that chaos.
Another arm could be sending emails to them. One arm could be writing down information about your clients.
Keap controls the chaos that every small business owner faces every day.
The coolest thing about Keap as a product right now is the Keap business line.
The appointments feature.
automation.
Automation.
The coolest thing about Keap as a product is having one system to grow your business.
Another arm could be putting an appointment on a calendar, and another arm could be sending a quote to a client. I don't know. How many? That's a lot. Maybe it's a squid. Maybe Keap's a squid. I don't know.
Okay, let's do this. Here we go. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Welcome. We're so excited to have you today. We are going to be breaking down the top trends we saw from social media marketing world that you should be bringing into your business this year. We also have a great guest with us. We have Junte Delane of Digital Delane. So hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Good.
How's it going?
I am excited. This is my nerdy topic of the year, my favorite topic of the year. Social media marketing. So thanks for joining us and helping us break down all these trends we saw at the conference this beginning of this week. Feels like already ages ago, but also I'm exhausted.
Yeah, me too.
Pages too, right, Paige?
Yeah,
We're struggling.
it was so much fun, but I definitely have been sleeping a full night every single night.
Yes, for sure. So social media marketing world happens once a year, usually in March. And it's where, I don't know, for us, we go to kind of see what trends are coming down the pipelines, get us reacquainted back to best practices that usually slip away when you're getting busy or feeling bogged down by the day-to-day. There's over 7,000 people there. Lots of small businesses, big brands, a big mix of people just really nerding out over social media. So we wanted to make sure to come back today and bring those trends to you guys so that you can put them into your business as well. So let's go ahead and introduce ourselves. Junte, we're going to let you start. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your business.
Yes, well, again, thank you guys for having me on the show. Really looking forward to talking shop with you guys. My name is Junte Delane. I'm the founder and chief strategist of Digital Delane. We are a full-service digital agency focusing on brand launches. I also am the founder of Digital Branding Institute, where we create a bunch of content and events around digital branding. I am a self-proclaimed digital branding evangelist, speaker, podcaster, blogger, the whole nine. You guys feel free to follow me and see what I'm up to.
Yeah.
You keep busy, that's for sure.
And we'll tag him so you guys can go ahead and follow him and learn from him. Yeah. It's great, all the content he puts out.
He gives a lot of free content away, just trying to help people out. And his events are really awesome, as well as he has got a great group going where he puts everyone together and kind of helps them and keeps them engaged. You do something every day, like something different every day of the week. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, and Crystal, you had the opportunity to speak at the Digital Branding Summit last month, which did a great job at that. You talked about organic social, so that certainly was a hit.
Thank you. It's definitely where my heart is. So Paige.
And we're your Keap social team. I'm Paige C. Clark, and I work on our social here at Keap, and I also manage our advocacy program and do some influencer work. So I absolutely loved the conference this past week, and I'm really excited to be bringing these tips because
Paige stays busy too.
It was really hard to like choose just top 5. I'll be honest.
Right.
Yeah, agreed. And Crystal, social team as well, and also doing PR for Keap. So we keep it busy, and we want to make sure we're providing you guys with the best content. So if there's ever something you want to see that you're not, make sure to message us comment on any of our posts, and we're happy to kind of get that content out to you guys. So, Paige?
Let's get started with our number 1 top takeaway highlight from the conference. Junte, go ahead and get started. What was your top highlight from Sunday through Tuesday?
Well, I mean, it was an action-packed event overall.
Sure was.
You know, I went in with the premise of connecting with other speakers. Many of the speakers who were on the Digital Branding Summit were there at the event. So I was just focused on networking, right? And I know, Paige, you came to one of our table talks for the branding table. So I was just connecting with a bunch of people. I was using the app to look at people's positions and look at their LinkedIn and all their social media to try to determine, okay, who should I be connecting with? And so that's usually what I do when I go to, you know, these conferences and all of them across the board, is focus on who are going to be attending the conference and seeing how we can potentially collaborate and help one another out. So that really was my focus for Social Media Marketing World this year.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I had so many takeaways and highlights. I think the thing I enjoyed most was Mike Stelzner's keynote. We're going to talk about what he brought to the table a little bit later, but identifying what these big brands are doing as a key indicator of what consumers are doing. I think that's like the biggest thing, and like you need a really like discerning mind to find those things. But I thought it was really helpful and like really insightful.
Yeah, my top highlight was really I got to see old and make new friends. So it was really exciting to kind of get out there, keep connections going, and you know, I meet people every year that I can go to later and say, hey, are you seeing this? Are you noticing this? And it just keeps me honest with what we're trying to do every day. So we're gonna start. We're gonna break it down like Letterman style, old school. So we're gonna go number 5, top trend to take away would be, don't assume you know where your audience is. So we're going to ask all of our viewers right now, we want you to comment with what percentage of TikTok users do you think are over 35? So comment with that, and we're going to answer that question. We'll either answer in the comments or, depending on if we're getting response, we'll answer right away. But I was surprised by TikTok demographics.
Absolutely.
And I feel like, you know, you can't assume you know where your audience is. A lot of the conference was talking about really go where your audience is. Make sure to put yourself out in new channels, and make sure that you know you're getting to your audience wherever they are. Even if you feel it's not quite a right fit for you. I personally could be on TikTok, but for Keap, I usually think, what would we do on TikTok? What would be different than our other content?
But they had an orthodontist on there.
Yeah.
They were talking about an
dentist.
orthodontist who like got really popular and blew up his business and was able to actually franchise a location there because he was on TikTok and it grew so much. So don't limit it.
Junte, have any of your clients ever been wrong about where their audience is?
Of course, absolutely. Yeah, and when it comes to TikTok, I think right now, just it's all about being first to market, right? So if you understand social business, you know that anytime there's a new social network or a new type of service, that they're going to reward you for using it, right?
Totally.
For that particular feature, you're going to get more organic reach. And so in order to get more people on the platform, TikTok that is, you're naturally going to get more reach for the people who actually follow you, right? So that's just something to consider as well.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, Alex from Facebook said he thinks 30% of TikTok users are over 35.
And we have Andres from LinkedIn who's guessing 30 to 35%.
So you guys would be shocked. It's 49%. 49% of TikTok users are 35 or older. which tells me I'm not as early of an adopter as I thought, but I will say that it got me questioning a lot at the conference, and it's something I'm definitely going to be looking into. Not sure I can say Keap will be on there, but I think we'll decide and we'll at least investigate it, which I think everyone should do. It's a great time of year to kind of reinvestigate where's your audience. You know, could they be somewhere you're not, that you could actually get a big pool of new leads or new contacts in? Okay, Paige, I'm going to let you take number 4 because this is something near and dear to your heart.
Yeah. So before we get into number 4, if you have any questions for our guests or for us or the topics we're talking about, leave them in the comments. We want to hear from you guys. We want to answer your questions. We want to be a resource for you. So go ahead, leave a question in the comment. We can answer them live on air. Or if you're watching the replay, we'll go back in, jump in, and answer your questions too. So don't miss out on that opportunity. So the number 4 tip, takeaway, highlight of what is coming in social media marketing is stories. Instagram stories, LinkedIn stories, Twitter stories, which they're calling
Fleets.
Fleets.
That was just announced yesterday.
Twitter fleets. So stories, bite-sizable content. If you don't know what stories are, usually it's right at the top of your app. It's 15 seconds typically of quick stories, videos, photos that can go back to back to back to back. And stories are just increasing in popularity. We saw kind of a surge of Instagram stories about two years ago, last year definitely for sure, but it looks like more networks are capitalizing on using stories because we're seeing it in LinkedIn and Twitter.
Yep, and they're making big investments. Like Stelzner brought up again, that Instagram and Facebook are investing more than ever into stories this year. So you should definitely be on those, and then also start investigating how will you use them on the other channels. So Junte, how are you incorporating stories into either your clients or your own strategy for your company this year?
Yeah, as you guys mentioned, stories is, a very popular feature for the platform. And not only that, but people are able to understand what you've been doing throughout the day, if you are an individual, or what type of experiences that your current brand is bringing, right? And so, but the bottom line here is people like stories.
Yeah.
Right. And so obviously they say a picture is worth 1,000 words, but it's just only one picture. So if you can stream that into collective pieces of content to create that story, it's naturally going to bode well for people, right?
Right.
And so, yes, I highly recommend that. And again, going back to what I mentioned earlier, because people, Instagram wants to make sure that people are utilizing stories, you're going to get more organic reach. Right,
Yeah,
so that's really the name of the game, leveraging things that are native to a platform, and they'll reward you for it.
That's true.
And for those who might not know, organic means that there's not money behind it, and it started on your page originally. One other thing that I thought was really interesting is going back to topic number 5 of knowing where your audience is. With stories, there's now poll features, at least in Instagram and Facebook stories, because they're one and the same a little bit. There's a poll feature where you can ask your audience questions. So a lot of the topics that came up was, oh, I don't know what to post. Ask your audience what they want to see from you, and they'll tell you. And that's the most exciting feature. They're saying, ask your customers, ask your customers. Guess what? Instagram Stories has a way to ask your customers right there.
Okay, the Social Diner says TikTok is a place to explore, to stretch the authentic and vulnerable real. I think that's a great way to put it. So thank you, Social Diner out there. It sounds like I could dine with you, because that's the kind of topics I like to talk about at dinner. But that's great, and I think it's such a great way to kind of put what TikTok's for, and I appreciate it.
And they
I'm
also
still
got
trying to
really
figure it out.
They also got really close. They said 45% is on TikTok.
The Social Diner knows their
very
stuff.
close.
Okay, so moving on to number 3. We need to make sure that we're making connections and being authentic. So Junte, I'm going to let you take this one. This is like right up your alley here with digital branding. So how can businesses today really do that?
Well, I think first and foremost is you want to make sure that what you're doing on social media would be the same thing that you would be doing in the physical world, right? So if that's, being social, the old school way of connecting with people, right, and applying those physical touch type of attributes to your social media.
Yeah.
And it's important that things aren't too polished and staged, right? You want to sort of delete some of those old cliche photos that you could be using on your social media, on your advertising. You want more lifestyle photos. It doesn't have to be the perfect shots or the perfect angles, but having that lifestyle type photos is important. Also, you want to be more conversational, right? Because people like to do business with people, and so and not robots, right? And so
totally.
you know, we want to make sure that your brand voice on social media is personable, right? And you also want to incorporate some personality into it, right? I mean, I think, you know, the personality is like the window to the soul of a brand. You can really see exactly the what the brand is like, and how you would potentially engage if you were to, you know, take that brand up on their offering, as an example, right? So authenticity for me really looks like transparency, clarity, and your ability to meet your customers or your target audience's needs by answering their questions within your content, within your stories, and so on. So think about that when you start creating content and putting it out on social media. Try to open up a little bit, show a little bit more personality, because it is the window to the soul of your brand.
For sure.
Absolutely.
That's so good. And I think you were so smart. You had your event. It was a digital event, and there were over 50 speakers. But you had a live Q&A every day. I thought that was brilliant, and it was such a great way of making sure there was still a human touch and a human element to these recorded sessions. And I felt like for me, the Q&A, I got to know the speakers better that I had listened to earlier in the day. And it was just great. I mean, everyone was on there asking questions and staying engaged. So if you think there's not a way to get authentic or to be real in your social media marketing, then you're not thinking creatively enough.
Right.
So stretch it, start wondering, like we do these lives as a way to make sure we're connecting with our audience. I hate being on camera, so the only reason I do this is because I want to make sure we're out here answering the questions and getting you guys the kind of content you want.
Yes, and also find which network works best for you, because you know your audience, find where your audience is, and also which one works best for you. So you know, if Instagram stories is where it's at, definitely invest and put some focus in there, and guess what? It's a share away from all the different platforms for stories, and so you create there, and then you can build it out from there.
Definitely.
So let us know in the comments which social network is your favorite, which one you find most useful for your brand, or which one you love to live on. Me, it's Instagram. I live on Instagram. What about you?
You do. Well, I'm starting to live on Instagram, but I mean, I'm old school, so Facebook started it kind of. Well, MySpace really, but I mean, I'm not going to kick at MySpace. Yeah. So I would say I'm becoming an Instagram user. I'm definitely not a power user yet, at least on my own brand. But for Keap, I think you're going to get us some cool things for stories this year.
I was talking personally, too. I
switch back and forth.
I love Instagram. Juntae, what about you? Favorite network?
I would say right now it would be between Instagram and Twitter.
Yeah.
Twitter.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. I mean, I started off with Twitter, really powering in on Twitter, making sure that I'm engaging with people. And then Instagram, I'm starting to wrap my head around that whole Instagram thing.
I would not have taken you for a Twitter kind of guy. But I guess you're going to be seeing Juntae on Fleets as soon as he can, right?
I'm going to be on Fleets, and I'm going to see you on TikTok, Crystal.
You might see my dance troupe before you see Keap, but you won't. That'll be it. Okay, so Paige.
Yes.
Paige and I almost got into a social media brawl over what was going to be 2 or 1 today. And to be fair, I felt like both of them were very crucial and top trends. So maybe it's kind of a tie.
And they go hand in hand.
They do.
It's hard to have one without the other. Looking at these here that we're bringing to you right now, they go hand in hand.
So share 2, because 2 is technically 1.5, right?
So number 2 is storytelling. So you see just this ongoing trend through everything that we're bringing to you today. Storytelling, authenticity, connecting with your audience, finding your audience, right? All of that is all encapsulated in storytelling. People are more and more likely to follow a story than they are to follow an ad, if you think about it, right? People fast forward through the commercials and they watch the story. Right. So incorporate storytelling into your marketing because people want to get to know you. They want to get to know why you're passionate about what you do, and tell a story. Tell how you got started. What's the hardest thing of your day? What's the best thing of your day? How do you get up in the morning? All of those things are stories that you can tell.
You could say Infusionsoft rebranded to Keap, or you could say the story of the heart of what went into that. And I think we're lucky to work somewhere that goes into detail, and Keap has shared that story of, you know, how we got to our name and all of these things. So there's lots of ways to tell a story. Think about the why more than the how, and you'll get to storytelling easily. Junte, what do you have to say on that?
Yeah, no, I love that. And I remember going down to the Keap headquarters and you telling me that story. And I thought, man, this is something that many small businesses and entrepreneurs can connect to, right? And so they're not necessarily going to connect with the name change, right? But there's a meaning behind the name change. And the story is really the connective tissue, right? Because no matter what type of business you're in, what industry, we all have commonalities, right, with one another. And the stories bring out those commonalities, and so that's gonna, you know, give your marketing communication more legs, because it's gonna be able to connect with those individuals who share the commonalities. So storytelling is absolutely key.
It is. So what tips would you give your clients or small business owners everywhere for how can their small business, how can they incorporate storytelling into their day-to-day?
Well, that's a great question. So I came up with a formula called the acronym called the 3 C's, and basically it starts with your customer, your content, and then your channels, right? And so when you are shaping a story, you want to shape it around your customer, right? So it's not about you, it's about your customer. So once you have that story shaped that makes the customer the story, the hero of that story, then you focus on, well, what type of content can we create? So how can we create videos and graphics and, you know, Instagram or Twitter fleets, right, that explain this, right? And then you talk about the channels, right? Okay, so how is this story going to be repurposed for different channels, whether it be through video, through email, through social, and so on. So once you connect all those 3 together, you know, you're going to create a story that people will be able to resonate with, no matter what industry, no matter what occupation, no matter what channel that they're on, right? So focusing on that story arc across all those different channels is key, and using the 3 C's, as I mentioned earlier, would help.
Totally, I love that. Yeah. Okay, so if you're out there listening to this, why don't you write down something you want to tell a story about, and maybe we'll feature one of your stories on our social.
Yeah.
I just randomly got that idea, but
tag us,
share
let us know
what you have to talk about your small business, and maybe we'll help facilitate a storytelling session with your story, because I think although it's 2 on our list, it's very important, and it kind of weaves through every single trend we're talking about today. Okay, so the number 1 top trend that we heard about actually came directly from Michael Stelzner's keynote, and it was streaming wars. So what does this mean for social media? I mean, you guys all know Netflix, Hulu, all of these are streaming, but some of the things I didn't know is that Disney Plus, in order to get out when they did, they actually lost a lot of money to push this platform out.
Billions.
Yeah, when we say a lot of money, it was a lot of money. So why would Disney Plus risk all of this money? They could have released something later, you know? And Michael Stelzner was just saying, they know what we don't, which is video is just going to be tripled down and quadrupled down, and eventually it's going to be important that you have a platform to stream. So all of you small business owners out there are probably like, well, I'm not Hulu, I'm not
Apple Plus.
Yeah, I'm not Disney. But one of the main ways we have right now to be a part of something that's streaming is YouTube. So there was some conflicting news about YouTube while we were there. Some people were saying it's dead and gone and it's a wasteland of content. And then other people were saying like it's time to triple down on it. So I would say find what works for you, but having your videos on a platform that's streaming them is going to help you get ahead of it and get you in the habit of making videos. And we're going to see what this keeps looking like as this year unfolds and as next year unfolds. But you need to be in the habit of making videos, having places to regularly share them, where you're telling the stories. You know, stories is also a great way to do that. So telling little clips quickly about whatever you want to talk about, those just help you get into practice and build these video library of how you talk about your business.
Right, and think of all the places that you can do it. So you have IGTV for long form, you have Facebook Watch for long form, LinkedIn you can do up to 10 minutes, YouTube, I mean, I don't know what the cap is on YouTube, but I've seen 6-hour videos on there before. And so think of all those different places that you might not think of for streaming, but like Facebook Watch, you know, I feel like they had a little bit of a surge like at the end of last year. And so think of that when you're thinking of streaming or video creation and storytelling.
I mean, Junte, again, I know I keep bringing up this event, but I couldn't believe, I was telling you this over the week, that I couldn't believe that that went as seamless as it did. Like, you have tons of video library now, just tons of content to use that you can use in any way you want. So what are some other great ideas for small business to incorporate, like, you know, video?
Yeah. So I think when it comes to creating a video or a live stream, you can create a bunch of different pieces of content from that live stream. So if you're looking to create more content, if you just simply turn on your camera, tell your brand story, right, you would be able to repurpose that content, whether it's creating a transcript from that video and then creating tweetable quotes and stats and things like that, stat and quote images on Instagram, and then going out and even transcribing that entire video into a blog post, right? So if you're struggling to create content, using video as your anchor, turn on that camera, repurpose as much of that video as possible, and then you could potentially have content for the remainder of the month. Right?
Totally.
So mix in that along with user-generated content of people reacting to that video, you pretty much have a content calendar set.
Yep.
Right. So I would highly recommend that.
To that point, we're still using content from last year with my bestie, Mari Smith. She doesn't know she's my bestie yet, but she is. We're still using that content from like a year ago. And it's great to reuse and make sure that you have extended evergreen content. So I think that's such a great tip. Paige?
Oh, I was just going to say, that's all I got.
Yeah, us too. So let us know which tip and trend you find the most useful, and we'll definitely share that out as we go. We might take it and make it a tweet. I don't know. Maybe we'll do that.
Maybe a fleet.
Maybe a fleet we'll hopefully get to it before that. But we'll tweet it out and make sure that we're sharing that out. So thank you guys so much. Let us know what you liked about today's show. Thank you, Junte, for being on the show with us and for bringing all your knowledge. We really appreciate it.
For sure. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye now.
Awesome.